Hello and welcome to the Classic Hollywood Movie You Should Know. I'm Nate Washburn. This week, to celebrate New Year's Eve, I want to talk about a film from 1960, Ocean's 11, starring Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., directed by Louis Milestone. Now, just off the bat, I want to point out this movie is the opus of the Rat Pack. Frank, Dean, Sammy, you got Peter Lawford, Joey Bishop. They are the stars of this movie. These guys at the time, in 1960, were at the pinnacle. They were the coolest of the cool. They could basically do whatever they wanted, and Sinatra decided that he wanted to make a film with his friends set in Las Vegas, which was their playground. And so they did, and it became this film, Ocean's 11. Now, this movie is not for everyone. If you are not a fan of Frank Sinatra and his music and sort of like the way that he styles himself, you're not gonna like this movie. It's a bit slow, it's a bit indulgent. Like, my wife does not like this movie. I am a Sinatra fan. I enjoy it just to sort of see that slice of life of what was super cool in 1960. But again, if you do not like Sinatra, don't watch this movie. Now, the plot, Frank Sinatra plays Danny Ocean. He reunites his old army buddies and they set up a heist of 5 Las Vegas casinos. They're gonna steal all their money on New Year's Eve. And if that sounds familiar, Danny Ocean, a heist of casinos, and it should, it's because this movie was remade in 2001 by director Steven Soderbergh, starring George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and then it spawned a bunch of sequels, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13, Ocean's 8. The main difference is the one from 2001 is sort of like a snappy, fun, almost like adventure-y kind of movie. This one is more of a drama, and it is a lot slower, so don't expect that fun, sort of fast-paced caper. There's a lot of elements of sort of the army stories, the friendship stuff. There's a character with a heart condition, and like his relationship with his ex-wife and his son and all this stuff. So they are very different in story, but this is where Steven Soderbergh and George Clooney and all those guys, they got their inspiration. Now, what really makes this movie kind of fun, at least for me and for those who are fans of the Rat Pack, is really Frank Sinatra. I mean, he, at the time, again, was possibly the biggest star, and doing this movie with his friends in Las Vegas. And there's so many great stories about them, and you can find footage and recordings of them in Vegas at the time of making Ocean's 11, because what they would do is they would shoot this movie during the day and then go and perform at the Sands Casino and do like a nightclub act and just sort of riff, do songs, do some comedy stuff. And it's mind-blowing to me, because then they drink and go out and party and have a good time, then wake up and film and go and then perform and then drink and then do it again. So in a way, it's almost a shock that this movie got made and that it is as watchable as it is, because it's so indulgent. And there are flaws in this movie. Again, it's slower paced. It could use some editing, and especially in the beginning, but the way that Sinatra and Peter Lawford talk to women is a little cringe-inducing. But besides that, there is a lot of charm in this movie too. I really think Dean Martin's performance in this movie is pretty solid. And just the random moments of songs, like Dean Martin singing Ain't That a Kick in the Head in his hotel room as sort of a little performance for the housekeepers, is just really sweet, and it's just a fun little moment. Or Sammy Davis Jr. performing the theme song, EO11, and doing like a dance routine. Now, I would argue Sammy Davis Jr. is the most talented of the big three in the Rat Pack, of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy, because not only could he sing, he could dance, and he could play instruments. He's a great drummer. Go on YouTube and like look up Sammy Davis Jr. playing drums. It's incredible. And that's the thing that a lot of people today don't remember about the Rat Pack. They see the images, they see these guys trying to be cool with the whiskey and the cigarettes and the suits. They really were great entertainers. And they put this movie out and audiences responded. Audiences loved this movie. Critics hated it. And if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, the original Ocean's 11 has a 48% fresh rating. Critics did not like this movie, but audiences did. It was the 9th highest grossing film of the year, making over $5.5 million at the box office. So celebrate the new year in style. Give a watch to 1960s Ocean's 11, starring three of the coolest guys, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. It's a fun little film. If you're a fan of Sinatra, that era, that music, definitely watch this. I love it. I think it's great. It's this week's classic Hollywood movie you should know. I'm Nate Washburn. Keep watching. And happy 2021 to everyone out there. Thank you all so much for watching these. My numbers have jumped, so if you want, give a subscribe. I've got a lot of these videos. I think this is like number 90 or 91, but there's a lot in the catalog. Subscribe, give a watch. Thanks for joining me. Happy 2021, everyone.